Good morning, folks. As I look out the window this morning, it's a nice, good, big frost out there. Jack Frost is out. Pretty cool. Hey, listen, my name's Ron Bishop, and I've got a channel on YouTube, and more people are subscribing to me every day on YouTube. I've got 507 videos on YouTube. I put them up in the last 12 months. Over 500 videos. Now, I could never do that if I had low self-esteem. And that's the subject I'm going to be talking about this morning, is self-esteem. You see, I've got several websites. I've got the Ashburton directory, Timaru directory, Oamaru directory, Traveller's Guide, and Personal Self-Development. I've got selfdevelopment.co.nz, which is my self-development website. And this video is going on my self-development website. That's where I teach you self-motivational skills, because I'm a motivational coach. But today I want to talk to you about self-esteem. I could not do this if I had low self-esteem. But it wasn't always that way. Years ago, when I was a little kid, I was very shy. I wouldn't leave my mother's skirts. I'd hang on to my mother's skirts. If strangers come around, I'd hold on to my mother's skirt. I was very, very shy. When I went to school, I had a terrible school teacher who told me I was dumb. She said, "Ron Bishop, you're dumb." She said, "You're going to fail this year." Every time I played up, she said, "You're going to fail." And guess what? I failed in Standard 4. I spent 2 years in Standard 4 because there was a school teacher who told me I was useless. Now, it wasn't until I left school that I started to get to come out of my shell, shall I say. You see, I got a job with a stock and station agency in a place called Hamilton, and I worked for a company called Loan and Mercantile, and I was a stock clerk, and I used to go around all the sales and do the booking. In other words, write down the who bought what and who sold what with the auctioneer. And one day I was at a sale, and the auctioneer said to me, "Ron, I'll swap your books. You do the auctioneering, and I'll do the clerking. I'll write down who bought the stock." You see? And here I was standing on a rail, looking down at these cows. We were selling cows. And I'm looking down at these cows, and the cows were looking up at me, and I had this book, and I was going to be the auctioneer. Well, I staggered through it. And in those days, it was in pounds, shillings, and pence, and you had to go up in 2 and 6 penny bids. And it wasn't easy, but I got through it, and when I finished, the auctioneer said, "You've got a great voice. You're a natural auctioneer. You got a loud voice. You speak from your stomach, not from your throat, and you'll go a long way in auctioneering." And I learned auctioneering, and I was very good at it. But then I left the stock firm and became a sheep shearer. And I shore sheep for 10 years, but later on, and I used to shear in the Golden Shears, and I used to shear in other competitions as well around New Zealand. But I was very nervous. I was a good shearer, but as soon as I got up in the crowd and people watching me, I got very nervous. And when I gave up shearing, I got a job as a salesman selling carpet cleaning. I had to go around knocking on doors, getting carpet cleaning jobs to do. And my trainer said to me one morning, "Your turn. You've had your training now. It's your turn. You're on your own. Go knocking on the door and get some carpets to clean." Well, the first door I knocked on, the woman came to the door, and I said, I forgot all my lines. You see, I had special words I had to say, but I said, "I've come to clean your carpets." She said, "Have you? Oh, that's good. Come on in. Our carpets need cleaning." That was my first sale. And I thought, boy, this selling is easy. And I loved knocking on doors. I still do today. I can knock on anybody's door because I was brought up that way. I got over the fear of knocking on doors. I then got into to finance and investments, and I made a lot of money in that area. And then one day I was driving along the road and I heard an ad on the radio, come and join Toastmasters. And I thought, oh, that'll be interesting. I could learn how to make speeches because I wasn't very good at making a speech. I was a bit shy. So I went to Toastmasters and they taught me confidence. They built my self-esteem. I would give a speech and someone would get up and tell me how good I was and then make some recommendations on how I could improve. Okay? And I learned a lot. I was 16 years in Toastmasters and I was very good. I won a lot of competitions. Because I used humour. I love using humour. Just a minute. I've always been keen on boxing. I love watching boxing. And a guy that intrigued me was a bloke by the name of Muhammad Ali. The way he spoke about himself, he had very high self-esteem. He told everybody he was the greatest in the world. And I learned that by telling yourself you're good, you become good. You'll never be any good at anything if you go running yourself down and say, oh, I'm not very good at that, oh, I can't do that. As long as you keep saying that, you'll never be able to. But Muhammad Ali said he was the greatest, nobody greater than him. So I started copying him, and I tell people now I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest public speaker in the world, I'm the greatest motivational coach in the world, and I'm the funniest man in the world. Now you may not believe that, but it doesn't worry me because I've got to believe it. Because once I believe it, I will start becoming it. My goal is to put on 1,000 videos. I've got 570 on YouTube at the moment. So every day I come online doing videos. And today is Saturday, and I normally go out videoing sport. And I've videoed soccer, rugby. Last weekend I was videoing hockey. Any type of sport I love to video. And today is the end of the netball season. Now at the start of the netball season I wrote to the Netball Association to see if they'd allow me to video some of the games. And the lady said no. She didn't want me videoing any of the games. They were going to do it themselves. So there are a lot of little girls out there that want to be videoed. They love the video. They love the YouTube. But some are spoiling it for others. Now, self-esteem, high self-esteem is not something you pass down. It's not hereditary. It's something you have to learn. I've got 2 young grandchildren. They're lovely kids, and they're very good at sport, both of them. But they don't want Pop coming and videoing their games. They don't want their photo taken. They don't want to be on YouTube. And their mother doesn't want me to put them on YouTube, you see? Because they've got low self-esteem. Although they're good, they don't like themselves. They've got low self. They don't like getting their photo taken. The oldest one, he's always at the back. Whenever there's a group of photos being taken with the boys, he's hiding behind someone's head at the back. But he's got to come out of that. I'm going to try and teach him that he has to be, if he wants to be an All Black, if he wants to be good, he has to come out of the closet and he has to start lifting his self-esteem. He has to start telling himself he's the greatest. You'll never ever be the greatest if you don't like yourself. You have to like yourself and you have to tell the world how good you are. Because no one's going to tell you. You have to do it yourself. You couldn't be the Prime Minister of New Zealand if you didn't like having your photo taken, could you? And so many people don't like having their photo taken because they have low self-esteem. They have a low self-image of themselves. You have to like yourself before you can like others. Start loving yourself. Start telling yourself how good you are. You're not a skite. That's not being a skite. A skite is someone who says something they can't do it themselves. Okay? They're useless at what they do, but they tell everybody they're good. You are all good. You're all good at something. But you've got to tell yourself how good you are. Okay? Listen, I've got to go for a walk. Because without my walk, I'm going to die early. My goal is to live to be 100. And I'll never live to be 100 if I don't exercise this big fat body of mine. Okay? So I'm going for a walk now. Don't forget, like yourself. Say you're good. And you will become good. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.